symphony of love, unbound. Here in the PNW, we go beyond the sound.
Welcome to the Beyond the Sound podcast. Here at Beyond the Sound, we explore and discuss music and arts happenings in the Salvation Army Northwest Division, serving Washington State, Northern Idaho, and Western Montana. I am your host, John Opina, Divisional Music and Gospel Arts Director, and I am joined by my co-host,
Keith Almanza, Assistant Director for the Division.
This is episode 7. Today's guest is our Divisional Youth Secretary, Captain Elizabeth Gross. Now, before we get into the topics of today, Captain, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, kind of your appointments before you've been up here, and just give the listeners a chance to get to know you a little bit.
Lovely. So, yes, Elizabeth, oldest of 3 girls, pastor's daughter.
All E names?
All EEA.
Okay.
We're a full house. EEEAA. And then when my sister married, another A.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
we're now 3-3. So we're good. So I was born in Northern California. Dad's a pastor preacher, put me on stage pretty early as preaching. And didn't grow up in Salvation Army, but loved Jesus. Wanted to do ministry and missions. Moved to Salvation Army.
Now, when you say
Yes.
Northern California,
Yes.
where?
Born in Redding.
Redding, which is famous for?
Simpson University and Bethel and all the big churches,
yeah,
the Sundial
Bethel.
Bridge, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, awesome.
So I met my bestie there, and then grew up outside of Chico. Went back to Redding for college. Wanted to be a missionary. Then God miraculously transplanted me and my bestie over to Hawaii to help with the Kroc Center build.
Who's your bestie?
Arwen Roger Guerra.
Ooh, and she's an officer.
She's an officer. She became an officer a year before me. I became a soldier a year before her.
Nice.
We were kind of on that train, and we were holding on for dear life until God said, do things.
Yeah. And they're at the Kroc Center, San Francisco, right?
They're at Kroc Center San Francisco,
Yeah.
but
Golden
our
State.
first introduction was Kroc Center Hawaii.
Nice.
Under the Lums, Lieutenant Colonel's Lums. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, transplanted into the Salvation Army, did a lot of youth, church planting, outreach, cross-cultural, young adult stuff, and then was called in to be officers. So I was first assigned back to Hawaii, to Lihui in the island of Kauai, and then to San Diego.
I forgot about
right?
that.
Yeah, and then to Sierra Del Mar, right before the merge. So about 6 months into San Diego, they said we're merging 2 divisions. And I said, okay, well, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So we merged, and then I was part of the new DHQ team for the Cal South division that then went back to SoCal division. So worked with the Chamnesses a lot as my DCs.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, let's not get into it.
About a lot of
It
that.
was good. There was some hard stuff, but it was really good. And so that team was awesome. And then up to the Northwest. So technically 4 appointments. And I'll be 10 years an officer in June.
Nice.
I know. It went real fast.
Yeah, and then so I spent some time in Hawaii as well as a DMD there.
Yeah.
And it's a unique place.
That's where I met you, right?
Yeah.
Yes. We met back in the day.
Yeah,
You were
it's,
doing like DMD. I was doing Kroc.
Yeah, it's an interesting place in that doing music out there.
Yeah.
Is I was fresh out of college when I got there, and there's so much talent with the people there.
Yes.
Like natively, like
Yes.
that instinctive talent.
The kids know how to sing harmony, from young.
Yeah, and I remember leading a choir, and I think I've told you this, Keith, but we were trying to do a song. I can't remember what it is now, but using traditional Western European notation and harmonies, they really struggled. Like they just could not do it. And so one of the last days, I think it was like the Thursday, I said, you guys, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Like, let's just sing Amazing Grace.
Yeah.
Like, there's the melody. We all know the melody. Just, you guys can harmonize it however you want. And man, the difference, like from trying to read music as opposed to just them doing it innately and instinctively,
Yes.
is wild.
It's beautiful.
I mean, it is,
But it's a different way to teach musicality. Yeah.
I miss the islands.
I do too.
I've never been, so I feel left out.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
you gotta
dude.
go.
What's wrong with you?
We've got your list of places to go.
It's always so expensive, at least the way I interpret
The
it.
Army has an apartment that you could rent out, or they would rent out
Yeah,
to you.
and you can rent out to camp.
It's like $50 a night or something, like $55 a night.
Well, don't
I
tell
know
that
this
to
is
everybody
gonna-
listening. I think that's an internal number.
This is going to sound
That's true.
this is going to sound totally inauthentic to you, I'm sure, but I hate spending money. Which is ironic because I just spend money on. He says I do frivolous spending, but I don't think so.
I mean, there's like 15 mouthpieces. There's
yeah, you got to find the right
new
one.
electric guitar. There's an acoustic guitar.
That's fun.
That's yeah.
There's important things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I definitely miss the islands.
vacations.
We're hoping to take our hula halau back to
Nice.
the islands or
Stop
to the
it.
islands
Fun,
within the
fun.
next 2 years.
Well, don't tell me that. I'm going to join.
Yeah. Well, you should.
I know. I want
You
to.
should.
Yeah, it just
We have
started
rehearsal
during my
on
busy
Saturday.
season, and I'm like, stop it.
Yeah. All right. So we have a top 3, a ranking of something.
Okay.
And usually we come a little bit more prepared on like what that's going to be.
Yeah.
But on the drive this morning, I still hadn't thought of anything.
Yeah.
And I did skip breakfast this morning. I just had a Red Bull, sugar-free Red
Yes.
Bull. And so I thought, oh, you know what? What's our top 3 places to eat here in the Northwest? I think that might just be the easiest. So the Northwest, we could strictly do division, so just in our division, or
Yeah.
the Pacific Northwest region in general. So
Now, are these unique to the region, or
Nope.
is like
Just your
Chick-fil-A make the
favorite.
cut?
I mean,
That's not.
You can choose Chick-fil-A if you want. If I don't want to.
So
judge,
stuff
'cause,
anything we can get.
the
here.
Lord's chicken is pretty good anywhere.
It's
but,
true. Except on Sundays.
except on Sundays.
It was so sad coming back from the Praise Summit.
Yeah.
We're flying back Sunday. We're like, oh man, I can't wait to get Chick-fil-A at the airport. Oh wait, we can't.
Yeah, it's sad.
Did you guys see? Speaking of, okay, go ahead. So let's start with Keith. Keith, give us your top 3
boy.
places to eat so far that you've experienced here in the Northwest.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Let me try and do this in order. So at 3, give me. Oh,
Oh, we
these-
have to rank them?
You don't have to. This is just my
Top
method.
3.
Okay. This is kind of a cop out, but these are all ramen joints. So number 3, give me Kazuki Ramen.
Where?
Kazuki they have multiple spots, but I guess the one at the Alderwood Mall
Okay.
would
Okay.
be the one. Either
Yeah.
that or the one in Bellevue. At 2, give me Kenji Ramen in Vancouver. That place
That place is pretty good.
is pretty
Okay.
good.
It's pretty good.
And
Yeah,
then
text me these spots.
number 1, is it Donbo? Is that the one we went to that they had a huge line?
Oh, in Capitol Hill?
Yeah. I forget if that's the name of it. I feel like it is.
I
But
didn't peg you for an all 3 ramen spot.
I a year ago would not have been. But
So just for some context,
Yes.
the last couple Christmases, Jeremiah Davis
Yeah.
from Portland, Vancouver,
Yes.
has come up to help us with kettles.
Yep.
And his first season, we were talking about places to eat, and Keith is very picky. He's a very picky eater. He's like a little child. And I had been trying to get him to try ramen for a long time.
I don't think
and
picky is correct. I think
picky.
not picky. I wouldn't say I'm a picky eater. I'm just very particular about my
Elevated
tastes.
palate. You want
Picky.
specific things?
I will be really hesitant to try new things
Okay. Valid.
based on experience.
Hawaii knocked that right out of me. I'm
Yeah.
trying everything.
Yeah. My grandparents did that for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we had to take Jeremiah home, or we had to take him about halfway. His parents were coming to pick him up.
Yeah.
And so we stopped in Tacoma, and this was kind of like, was it Christmas Eve? I think it was Christmas Eve, maybe the 23rd, and not many things are open at 10 o'clock at night. But there is this ramen place at the Tacoma Mall, or just up from the Tacoma Mall. It was actually near the, whatchamacall, the Korean barbecue place in Federal Way.
Oh, which one?
The King.
The one we went to?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
what was
that
that
one
called? I don't know. We went with a big group. I don't remember.
Anyway, it was near there, and it was a ramen place.
Yeah.
Keith was all in shambles, crying, tears in the, like, what is this?
This is not true at all.
And so we
At the
sat
Korean
down-
barbecue spot?
No, at the ramen place. So
Okay.
the ramen place was like the only thing open at the time.
Yes.
And so, I like ramen. Jeremiah's all about ramen.
Yes.
Keith's first time experience, and he was, sweating bullets. And we get in, and life-changing experience.
So that wasn't
Look
the
at
first
you.
ramen stop we made, though. That was the last one we made for the season. But that was when I was already coming around on it.
What
was the first
good
one?
ramen is
What was
First one we
good.
went with, I think Stava was there, and we probably brought the Koenigs too.
Yeah.
It was after some event we had.
Oh, that would have been after the Festival of the Nativity
Probably that one.
Yeah.
in Bellevue at the Mormon Temple.
I've
Yeah,
been
so-
making my own ramen eggs at home. The soy sauce eggs.
Yeah,
They're delicious.
that sounds good.
But yeah, all
Okay,
three
so
ramen
all
for me,
three
so
ramen. Okay.
They're
Okay.
all really good choices. So
All right, Captain,
Nice.
why don't you go?
Okay. It's hard to pick. I don't know 1, 2, 3, but I love Mackey's dim sum in Issaquah. Really good. So whenever I'm going over Snoqualmie, I'll stop.
Like better than like Dozone and
Yeah, because it's more traditional. I think it's Cantonese.
okay.
So it's the more traditional, like a different region in China kind of thing, right? So it's a regional, and I think it's the first dim sum I kind of had in Hawaii. So it's my favorite. So I love
yeah.
like Dozone or Din Tai Fung, right? Those are great, but I think those are more Taiwanese. I'm not sure, but it's a different brand of dim
Oh,
sum.
how does what's the price point?
It's good.
Because Din Tai Fung is like really good, but it's also really expensive.
shumai is like $6, like good
Okay.
size.
Yeah.
And so a lot of their plates are like $6, $7, $8 kind of dollars kind of thing. So it's good. You can get like 3 for a decent lunch. So it's nice. I like it a lot.
I might put an asterisk on my
Nope, too
Kazuki
late.
take.
Too
'cause
late.
I forgot about Dozone. That place
You're
is
done already?
so good.
Too
It's
late.
delicious. So yes, dim sum is pretty much one of my favorite foods. So that's a good one. Actually, by Seattle Temple, there's La Cabana, which is Central American food, and it is delicious. Like
Is
it's
that the
different.
one off of Northgate
I
or
think
185th or
so.
something like that?
185th, I think. Yeah, La Cabana. So it's always really packed. They had to like take out another part of the building because like they had to expand. So it's
Is that
delicious.
right across the street from the McDonald's, or am I thinking of a different
I don't
spot?
think so.
No,
Okay.
it's like
No.
across the street from it's like a cafe and an ice cream place, right?
No, it's kind of in a residential area, like apartments and stuff.
Is it next to the church?
Close by the church. Not like I would drive. It's like 5 minutes from the church.
So there's like I think it's a 4-square church.
Oh,
Is it next to the 76?
no.
We'll have to find
Well,
this.
I'll have to send it to you. It's really good.
There's like a food truck.
La Cabana, Central American food. So like Nicaraguan, Ecuador kind of stuff. And they have different, like their pupusas are a little different and their tamales are a little different. And so it's like really good food. So my favorite's like the appetizer platter with all the goodies so you can try everything. So that's delicious. And then actually one of my favorite places to eat in the Northwest Division has been Spokane. They have really good food, and probably my favorite is called Emron, and it's Afghani food.
I was really hoping you were going to name the
Oh,
Aloha joint. He is so
garbage.
Aloha joint. Like King's Ramen is good there too. I like the Lebanese cafe, but if I had to choose one, it's the Afghani place called Emron.
okay.
Like on the main strip. You got to tell them though, because I'm like spice, but not so much spice. One time I told them like no spice and it was still spicy. So I have to say like -2. And then it's like the spice I like.
Is that like open where like everything's just kind of? Do you use your hands there?
Yeah, it's pretty much like shared plates,
Yeah, yeah.
kind of platters, and everybody kind of shares. So you eat with your hands. But they have these little booths where you can sit on the carpets, and they have pillows, or you can sit at like a traditional table. So it's really good. Very underrated.
Spokane does have some sneaky
Spokane's
good spots.
good
There was that.
spots.
Where did we go with Captain David, Eric? After that
dude.
retirement home,
Kim's Kitchen,
that place is pretty
Korean
good,
barbecue.
pretty
In
tasty.
Spokane?
Oh my heavens!
Oh, I love
I feel
Korean
like it's
barbecue.
right down the street from the core. No,
It's So
Or is
do
it
you know where the
close?
Panda Express is across from the core?
Yeah.
It's like across the street from that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm surprised. Korean
there's like a
barbecue
Dutch-
didn't make my top 3 because I love Korean barbecue.
There's a Dutch Brothers
yeah.
that's really close, and it's in the same parking lot.
Okay. Delicious.
Yeah. Aloha Grill in Spokane is decent
Okay.
at
He's-
best. Their rice is garbage. I'm sorry.
So it's not your top 3.
The garlic chicken though is chef's kiss.
King's Ramen is good in Spokane.
I
Their
haven't-
chicken karage is like this,
Oh,
like huge.
was it King's Ramen or King Noodle? I forget if the
King's Ramen.
Okay.
Near the core.
King Noodles in
it's here.
Everett
Okay.
near the Asian marketplace.
So I don't get the plate. I just get the appetizer box, like just the side. And then if I want a little rice, I'll get the $2 rice on the side. It's cheaper, but you get like this huge chicken karage.
Okay. Mine. There's definitely a first place, and that would be Iolani's truck plate lunch
Yes,
in
you've
Portland.
talked about. Still haven't made it.
You like
I've got to go.
you have talking about chef's kiss. He's
Yeah.
been touched by Jesus. Like that is holy ground right there.
I think that's biblical.
That is. I mean,
I'm
it's
the pastor
so
in the
good.
room. I can say that.
It's really cheap.
Yeah.
You know, for like a lunch, plate lunch is $15.
It's not bad.
For like
That's
a
a
mixed
lot of
plate,
food.
it's $20.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a lot of food. I mean, it is pretty fantastic.
Nice.
I think another favorite would be Jollibee. I just love fried chicken, but that's not unique to the Northwest.
Dip it in gravy.
Yeah. So I'll pick it. I would. I think Kazuki Ramen makes the list. That place is pretty good.
Kazuki or Kenji? Vancouver or
Well,
local? I mean, they're both
Like
good. but-
they're both really good, but I want access.
yes.
So
And-
close enough.
And Kenji's not
Yes.
very accessible.
True.
And now that you reminded me of Spokane, that Kim's Kitchen in Spokane is on the list.
Okay.
I've been there twice now.
Okay. We gotta go.
And, you know, the first time it was during officers' councils last October.
Yeah.
And it was on the day where, you know, all the officers have their flourishing groups, and I'm just by myself because I'm the only non-officer there.
Yeah.
And no dig. No, I'm just kidding. It's a good time. And so I went there, and I think I had the bulgogi, and it comes with all the banchan, like on the sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just scarfed everything down.
Delicious.
And like the employees were impressed. Like the waiter went back to her mom. I was like, he ate everything. And I'm like, yeah, do you see me? Of course I'm going to eat everything. So
it is all good.
I think
So good.
interesting thing to note. So when we went, they the waitress that was helping us, she recognized that we were with the Salvation Army. 'Cause
Yeah,
we
yeah.
all just came out of. I think we were wearing our Christmas sweaters. Captain David's wearing his fatigues, and
Nice.
so she recognized that we were with the Salvation Army, and she had mentioned to me, because I think I was closing out, that she went through like the Spokane social services,
Yeah.
like they when she was younger.
Yeah.
So she was, well versed in the whole background and how grateful she was for that. So that was just an interesting thing
Yeah.
to come across, touching lives like that.
Spokane is huge.
Yeah.
With all the programs and the impact and Gifford and
Like their own tiny division.
Yeah. People have been really touched by the Salvation Army in Spokane.
Yeah.
And the surrounding areas.
and their core name is Spokane Citadel, not the Spokane Valley Corps. Like I
That's
said
right.
like I said last time. Sorry, Captain.
Fixing it.
Okay, so enough about food. I'm hungry.
I'm like, well, aren't we doing a food podcast? Isn't that what we're doing here?
We should. We should.
Sort of what it turns into sometimes.
We just like bring. We should bring food.
we
and,
should
like,
bring food, taste it.
some-
Just ASMR pod.
Yeah. Some
Hey,
food
I'm
ASMR.
on it. We'll bring food.
Well, the purpose of this podcast is just to kind of go over a pretty big recent event for the youth department
Yeah.
and the division.
Yeah.
And that was Divisional Youth Retreat, aka Youth Councils, aka Say Summit, aka all the things,
All the things they
depending
changed the
on
name
your
to.
generation.
Yeah.
So why don't you just give us your general thoughts on how it went,
Yeah.
because you're the DYS and
Yeah.
that's your baby.
Right.
Some of the takeaways you hope that like the kids had, and maybe even some like the adults had.
Yeah.
Right, because this is something that. Oh, never mind. I'll talk about that later. But and
Yeah.
then maybe some Bible Bowl. Talk about Bible Bowl.
Yeah.
Like who won, and who participated.
Yeah.
And then I guess whatever your favorite parts are. So there was a lot in there. Just
Yeah.
give us your general thoughts on how it
Remind
went
me
first.
if I get off track.
Sure.
But yeah, overall like event overall, right?
Yeah.
I was very pleased, very happy with it. And it was my second time, right? So I'll be here 2 years in June. So this is my second DYR. And I was really pleased, really happy with it. And I think it started off with just the kids coming in. And honestly, like, kids are different in every culture, right? And then in every generation. So when you get to a new space, kind of got to learn the kids, right? It took me a while in Hawaii to learn those local kids, right? But once you get them and get their hearts and how they tick, right? And so one of the things I told like our guest speaker about the kids in the Northwest is sometimes they can be a little bit more reserved or a little bit more quiet or not engage as openly sometimes in talk or dance or whatever, right? And so I kind of prepped her for that, and that has been mostly my experience in a lot of spaces. Not all spaces, but some. Just a little bit more reserved than some kids. But I came from SoCal, and they're a little bit like party kind of kids, like up in the mosh pit kind of situations,
Sure.
right? And so coming in like night one, and our theme was glow, right? It's like the glow of God with us. So we were covering Moses and how when Moses spends time with God, there's this glow that comes on his face, right? So it's about the Holy Spirit filling us and walking with God and his radiance shining through us. But that's a continuous thing that like that glow eventually faded from him, right? So you have to be in continuous relationship with Jesus, right? And our goal is that people, especially the kids, would meet with God and meet with each other and make commitments there and go home walking with God and community and peace and joy in their own soul, right? So just this idea of radiance. And so we hit Friday night particularly hard with like glow stuff. So we had like foam glow sticks and the theme, like our Anthony got our event guy, he did the glowing lights, right? And we have neon signs around and things like that. So we tried really hard and started off with like a flash mob of the youth pastors and corps officers doing a dance, right?
Yeah.
So
Don't give away too much. I'm putting all this in the newsletter.
okay. So like we started off with like a pre-done dance, right? So I was like,
What song? To what song?
It's Gonna Be a Good Day by Forrest Frank.
Yeah.
So we're just like, let's do it, right? So let's do something funny and like set it up for like the leaders to set the scene, set the culture, set the context, right? And just be silly and have a good time and fun and intentionally plan for this moment. So we did this surprise dance, and then we did a game with the glow sticks and then headed into the program, right? So just really wanted to start it off with like the glow and the fun and the dance and a game, and then headed into everything. And so overall, really happy with it. We had about 230, a little over 230 come,
Nice.
right? And that a lot of new kids, right? A lot of new kids who have just transitioned into our age bracket, right? And so that was really fun because they were a little nervous, a little scared. Even the guy, Jonah, who I had do his youth testimony, this was his first time,
Sure.
right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I
Nice.
had Jonah do his testimony.
Dude.
He shared a little bit, and then I did like an interview style with him for a little bit. So I called him and prepped him before, and I'm like, oh, so this is your first time to DYR? So I kind of talked him through what it was like, and then also talking through what the testimony time was going to be like, right? So that was really fun. So we had a lot of like 12-year-olds, right, who were just aging in, and they were super excited but nervous. And then we actually had quite a few teens who have aged out, so 17 to 18, and our corps officers are like, can they come? And I'm like, if they're chaperones and they
Yeah,
have
Rose-
PTM, and
Rose
right?
does that.
Rose, that's
Yeah. And so seeing a lot of our young people now transition into, okay, now I'm a leader. Now I'm a chaperone, right? So trying to help them transition and keep them connected on that side of things was really fun too. A little tricky because they're used to being teens, right? So some of them, I'm like, oh, you need to be with the children.
Yeah.
You're not a child anymore and you can't float, right? So like just working on that transition from teen to young adult. So that was fun on that side too. We had reported 28 first-time salvations in Jesus, right? So that's like 10%, right?
Yeah,
Over
yeah.
10% of all the ones who came. And that's even more percentage once you get down to like the youth, right? And then 37 recommitments to Jesus. That's coming back or seeking him and recommitting their lives. So that's huge number. Like
Yeah.
out of the kids
That's awesome.
that were there, 30-40% made some kind of commitment. I have to look at the numbers exactly, right? But about there is where we were hitting like the first time or second time commitments to Jesus. And we also had this little question that said, did you feel loved by God and others in this weekend? And like everybody was saying yes, right? Couple maybes, couple, and out of the ones that reported, but most all of them said yes. I felt loved by God and loved by community and church.
Nice.
And so those outcomes are, right? That's what it's all about. So wanting to focus on creating an event that has a good vibe, good culture, good focus, and then you're hitting a whole bunch of different elements and everybody's learning styles and interaction levels.
Yeah.
And then making those spaces for people to meet with God. It's really, really fun. So
Now, I
I'm very
wasn't
pleased.
there.
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot of good things about the
Yeah.
weekend. So job well done to you and your team.
Thank you.
And I don't think Keith did a lot of the AV stuff.
Yes. Thank
in
you,
my
Keith.
stead, and I think we might just keep that a norm. I don't think I ever need to go back.
No, I want my
feel
DMD.
a lot more accustomed
It's all
to the
about
board now, so I don't
discipleship,
mind.
John. We want you in all those
No, I'm just
spaces.
kidding. I was gone because I had my mom was celebrating 70th birthday.
Yeah.
So I was down in Temecula, Southern
That's great.
California, celebrating that. But I did hear a lot of good things about the weekend.
Yeah.
Our youth groups performed, right, Keith? What
Yeah, the
groups?
Hula Hula on Saturday evening.
Yes.
So they were,
It was beautiful.
yeah, it was really
It
well
really
done.
set the scene because Saturday night is our commitment night, right? We try to like pull it in to really our commitment time, and we actually had some time there and sometimes Sunday this weekend. But the hula really set it off nice.
Did,
Yeah, so-
did you know if anyone took video?
I
Record that?
I haven't received any video. I have pictures.
We've got
I
good
don't
photos.
have any video. I asked for a couple videos, but that might have just been lost in translation. So to
We
speak.
got a little bit. Mitchell from Eastside was taking some video, so I know he got at least part of it
Yeah.
because he put some of it in the rewind video.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it's like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll check with him. But yeah, so the Hula Hula was on Saturday. A couple of our air quotes youth were part of the praise team
Yeah.
for the week, like Rose, for example.
Yeah. For the whole weekend.
And
yeah.
then our divisional youth band kicked off with the prelude for Sunday morning. Sorry. And then we just kind of, while the video was playing, the rewind video, we just did a quick changing of scenery. So we just moved all our chairs and stands down to the floor so we could be there and able to play along with the praise and worship team.
Yeah, that
youth
was
praise
cool.
and worship team. So
What did you
was-
play?
so the
Or I
prelude.
guess what material did you play?
Right. So the prelude, we did an arrangement of "You Are Good," the Israel Houghton
Yeah.
tune, and then as a collaboration with the youth praise and worship team, we did "God So Loved," which that was a little stressful just because we found out late in the game we were not doing the same exact arrangement.
Oh, I couldn't tell.
It was fixed by that point, but
Okay.
But there's a studio version and a live version. They have some
Oh.
small variations in like chord arrangements and whatnot, but
Valid.
it was a little stressful to find that out too late. I was like, this doesn't sound. Wait a minute, that's the wrong chord. And then so then we did Waymaker was the other one we did with them. They also
Yeah.
did Gratitude on their own, which I think the brass chart wasn't available at the time, which is why we opted not to do it with them. But Waymaker, that was also a really good collaboration. I think those both translate well between the brass
Yeah.
and like the more rock band setup.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. Those out there, there's this thing called brass music charts, and they're just kind of backups to popular praise and worship songs out there. Meant for 5 parts, but I think you do it with 4. I think it's $100 a year, and you get 30 a year. I think I could be wrong on the amount, but there's quite a handful.
I think they said 40 is their target, 40 annually.
40
and then
a year.
it's 5 parts and timpani. Usually.
And timpani.
And timpani.
That is
I don't know that we would ever use that.
What's
but
antimpany?
a timpani, so it's like the 4
the big
drums,
drum.
the big ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and
Valid.
timpani.
Cool name.
there's something unique to DYR this year.
Yes.
Because usually Bible Bowl is a separate event
Yeah.
on its own.
Yeah.
But you guys decided to have it this year
Yes.
during DYR.
Yes.
How do you think that went? Like, what corps participated?
Yeah.
And then, if you don't mind sharing the winner.
Yes. So, we decided to do Bible Bowl as part of this weekend. I think it was actually the brainchild of like Colonel Tim Foley. He's like, do it when everybody's there and you can see everybody and
Makes sense.
have access. And I'm like, okay. And so next year I might have pass that off to another officer who can help me with it because it's a long weekend. Like it was a lot to go from one thing to the next, but it went really well because the stage is already set up nicely for it for at least 2 teams, right? So our 2 teams that competed were Spokane Citadel with 5 members, and then Vancouver with 4 members. And the overall individual winner, like individual scorer, was Ben Morrow. And then the winner was Vancouver Corps. So we got some good photos with them. They got their trophies. We had trophies for second place, first place. And Vancouver then goes to commissioning in SoCal in June to compete.
Yeah, right
so
on.
So we're looking forward to that. Good
That's
job,
awesome.
guys. Woot woot.
You know, I gotta give myself some props here because I was the first to mention that. Hey, we should incorporate
Yeah.
Bible Bowl with another event. And my initial thought was Encore. 'Cause
Yeah,
there's so
yeah.
many people there already.
I think we did talk about that.
Kids are already in
Yeah.
uniform, right?
Yep.
So they would be, and parents are there, so they could all.
Yeah.
Well, it's also the formula at commissioning. You know, they do Bible
Yeah.
Bowl
That's true.
there
And so
at
now,
Encore time.
so I'm
Yeah.
glad it was able to work at DYR.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. Now, one of the things was it was during free time. So
This
we
is
had
tricky.
tons of other fun activities going on, including like music bingo and stuff like that. One of our crew from development came out and did that, Emma. So we had tons of fun activities going on, and the weather was good, so the kids wanted to be outside and play.
Bingo? Don't you have to like put,
Music bingo.
Don't you have to put money in for bingo?
I
Oh,
remember-
No, it's
I'm
just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just
donation
kidding.
only.
I'm kidding.
So young adult retreat
Yeah.
last year.
Yes.
I was there for, and so she came out and did the music bingo. I gotta
Yes.
say, I'm not a fan of the way she does it because it's all like stuff I don't listen to at all. T Swift, you name it. It's like all in that realm.
You got to mix it up when you're doing a big group of people.
I'm trying to play like I don't know what this is, and I hear one Disney tune, I was like, know it.
Oh, you're a Disney guy.
How
I
can you
like
not be?
Disney. I love Disney. So it was really good. It was nice to have like our leaders come, the Foleys, and then we had special guests from THQ, Major Emmanuel Masongo, our TYS. So he came, and Summer Bussey from THQ Youth Department. She helped with a lot of things during the weekend, so that was really good. And spent some intentional time with like our youth pastors and doing some training and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think you never mentioned who the special guest was.
Yes.
The guest speaker.
So our special guest her name's Jennifer Dake, and she is a friend of the Salvation Army. Her kids do some Salvation Army programs. She's really been doing on and off ministry and speaking with the Salvation Army, I think for close to 20 years, like over
Where is
15
she from?
years. She's from Nashville, Tennessee, and I was exposed to her ministry at Anthem year before last. So she was the main speaker, and just really, she has this excellent way of connecting with the congregation. She knows the Army and has a huge passion for the Army. So she's kind of like one of our cheerleaders, right? She really wants to see, she sees the overarching impact of the Salvation Army in the U.S. and beyond, right? But her context is U.S. And so seeing and really having taught and spoken, I think in all 4 territories now, right? So she knows quite a bit of how the Army runs and the players and just the huge impact that the Salvation Army has. And she told me the story of how she'll tell her friends, hey, my kid's going to Salvation Army camp or whatever, right? And they're like, oh, what's that like? Right? Because they're just like Salvation Army. They think it's going to be like a janky kind of camp situation. And she's like, no, they have music programs and they have high ropes course and they have trooping programs. And like people's eyes light up because they just don't realize what the Salvation Army has to offer and the quality of youth outreach and camp and music and all these things that we offer to the community, as well as just the broader social services and keeping families fed and in homes and and our housing situations and recovery. And right, there's just so much of the Army that people just don't see and know. So Jennifer's kind of taking it on as part of her ministry overall to go, got to tell your story and tell it, right? And tell it better and well. And and she just connected really well with our youth and kind of switched things up a little bit. And when a preacher gets to preach 4 consecutive messages, you go on a journey with them, right?
Yeah.
So it's a journey of Moses, and from the time of him being drawn out, his name means drawn out, like drawn out of the water, right? And so just God draws you out, and then he calls you, and you get to spend time with God and glow. And we used glow sticks for Saturday nights, like commitment night. So it was an invitation to come and say, if you've said yes to God or you need to say yes to God, go ahead and come up here and like crack a glow stick and take it with you, right? And then the next day she brought it, and it was no longer glowing, some of the ones that we'd used Saturday night. And she's like, yeah, this thing of like, it's a continuous hanging out with God. It's a continuous walking with God in order to keep that glow and that radiance and the presence of God with us. It's just not a one time, but we walk with God. So talking about this like discipleship and what it looks like to like go home and live and walk with God in the church. So yeah, we really loved her.
That's
liked
awesome.
her a lot. It was fun and had really good feedback.
Yeah, awesome. What was your favorite part of the weekend?
Oh my goodness.
Just choose one. There's no top 3.
Sunday morning was fabulous. I really loved Sunday morning because we had done a commitment time on Saturday night with the glow sticks, which was great, but it just didn't feel like we were fully done. And Jennifer was kind of feeling the same thing, and she told me later, we're friends, and we were talking about it, and she was saying the Lord kept waking her up in the night and kind of changing things a little bit, and they're like, we're not done. And Jennifer's like, I don't do commitment times on Sunday, right? Well, we did it Saturday night. And she's like, okay, I'll do it. But she's like, hey, it's now or never, right? She wasn't going to leave it open for a long time. And so just her walking with God and being sensitive to the Holy Spirit and where the kids were at, and they just weren't fully done.
Yeah.
And so at the end of Sunday, after fabulously having like the youth band and praise, and the service was really nice, and she's kind of wrapping up the messages of Moses and his calling, and you know how he draws us out and calls us to greater things and fills us with his presence. And we weren't done yet, and so she just basically opened up the altars, and we had this huge altar call. And right,
I will say the other part of this, the story that she was telling that morning. So when we have the meeting prior to the session, she's talking about how God was speaking to her in the night, and the song that she doesn't really know, but like was really kind of hitting the spot for her was, she's like, does anybody know the song Waymaker?
yes.
You're like, it's funny you mentioned that. We are actually doing that today.
And she's like, oh, God's so good, right?
And,
so it was like our pre-gathering prayer meeting. Nice. And she's like, I think we're going to do an altar call, like talking to the team, right? And she's like, anyone know Waymaker? And Keith's like, we're doing it. And she's like, ha ha.
I think they,
right?
I think the praise team did it, I think the day before too. But
yes,
that was one of their multilingual ones they did, which is something we haven't touched on yet, but that was a really nice addition. I don't know, was that your idea, Anthony's idea?
That just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Like I didn't mention it. So that was definitely like the Lord working in like for that moment, because she was talking about, hey, you guys, like God is the one who has made the way, because we're talking about them going back home and walking with God and people, right? So when God parted the waters and made a way, right? He's a way maker through the waters when they're stuck at the Red Sea with the Pharaoh coming to get them, right? Pharaoh, right? So she was saying that like some of you are looking forward and you can see the way that the Lord has made through the water, right? Some of you are still looking back. Like you're still looking back at the scary or the past or the army or the impossible thing that's coming towards you, and you don't think there's any way out because you've already looked that way and there's nothing, right? Some of you need to turn around and look at like the way that God has made through the waters. Or some of you need to help some of your friends turn around and see the way that's been made. And then you need to take that way, right? And I'm like, okay. And so just seeing like the Lord work through the music, the Lord worked through Jennifer and the specific messages that were on her heart, and how she had because, speakers are great, but Jennifer specifically really invests in spending time with everybody and like getting where people are at and their vibe and what they need, and then being willing to be flexible with that and seek the Lord for how messages should maybe shift a little bit from what we were thinking and planning originally, right? And so seeing all this move towards the altar call moment of kids really meeting with God in an overt way. And we all know it's not about coming to the altar to like, so we can count your head, right? That you were up there, but like really seeking the Lord and praying and meeting with him and having that significant moment at a youth event where we know if kids meet Jesus young, they're much more likely. I think it's by the age of like 14, right? If kids make a commitment to Jesus by the age of 14, they're much more likely to walk with him their whole lives or to come back to him, right? If they get off track a little bit, to come back. So these youth moments, and pastors and adults say, I remember it was at youth councils. I remember when it was youth councils, or Say Summit, right? These moments where we were young and God moved and did something significant in their lives. And so it just helped with this overall vibe of the kids really came out to play. Like they had a good time. It felt like they were playing. We didn't have any major things that weekend. And, there's little things here and there that you have to do, but these are just good kids having a good time in a safe environment with all these opportunities to learn and grow and connect with other people. And so culminating in that moment was really fabulous.
That's awesome. I have to kind of just say, like, as a worship leader, I often struggle with the same things of like, okay, like, what should I do after if the message is going one way, like what should I play in response? Or because you have a general plan, but then once you feel the room and once you hear the message and kind of like you read the room and see what's happening, then it's like equations, like all these thought process that starts to happen. Yes. And it's so just all you worship leaders out there, I think learning how to be present during a service and listening to the message and kind of learning how to read the room and being flexible and just being attuned to the Spirit and what the Spirit is doing. In a service will take you a long way. In your development as a worship leader, because sometimes, you want to. I think a lot of times you want to end with like a big song, right? Like, oh, let's do like God So Loved, right? But it's like, it's not the time yet. Like we have to be able to say there needs to be something else before that. And there's a lot of times where I really struggle. In fact, I kind of struggle at that with officers' councils because I had a different plan going into that last meeting, and then it was kind of thought, oh, we're actually not doing that. Right. I was like, oh, okay. So just you worship leaders and music leaders in general, just being open to the Spirit and just being attuned to what's going on, will not only help the progress or the flow of the meeting, but can actually add another element to it all.
And as a preacher and as the one like setting up, you want to set up the culture, right? The music is so important, and it's the talent of it, right? The practice that has gone into it. You can tell, like me as a partial musician, singer, right? Like I don't do it for a living, right? Kind of thing. But as someone who loves music, but I'm not specialty in it. But to have that, like the worship team who can be sensitive and who can feel the room, that's huge, right? It just helps the movement of the Spirit and how we're opening up a safe space of reflection in this, like the sacredness, right? It's the holiness. It's you're opening this opportunity for people to meet with God. You're inviting them to worship him and meet with him and see him. And those are really, really cool times. Yeah.
On the more practical side, you got to make sure your AV team is like right with you.
Oh my gosh, the AV team was real good. Or
else, no matter what happens, if the AV team is not with you, and they're not, paying attention, that whole moment can go away. So
just like so much work. We came in days early to set up, and so I really appreciated the AV team. Yeah, the audio visual is just so good, and really, like, I think we've hit a stride, right, with our DYR. Really enjoyed this. I'm like, let's set it up like this next year, because I think we hit it, how we did it. But that, I know that takes a lot of time and energy and effort and a lot of tear down and things like that. And then
Which I missed. Yay.
we'll see you next year.
Yeah. So
But,
big
like,
shout out to the AV team.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
AV teams out there. You guys are vitally important, because if something goes right, no one ever thinks about you.
Yes.
But the moment something goes wrong, you're like a zoo, an exhibit.
Right.
Everyone's looking at you.
Right.
You know.
So it was good.
Yeah.
And then just a couple, mentionables is that we did like some intentional time with our leading our youth pastors, so youth workers, so employees and volunteers. We did one time of training with them and one time of encouragement with Jennifer Dake with them, and gave them extra treats and good Red Bulls. Yeah, I don't drink them, but I know they do, so I brought them. And so some intentional time with our youth leaders. Session 2, Saturday morning, we split up the guys and gals, and we did some intentional speaking and then panel questions where the teens had submitted questions about life and faith on Friday night. And then I'd gone through and edited those and gave them to the facilitators. And we talked about some of their real life questions in the guy and gal cabin groups. So that was really great. Mackenzie made this awesome glow game, scavenger hunt kind of thing. But like, we can't do it without all the youth pastors and the youth workers, like bringing their kids, and then so much things that they did from the workshops and the free time activities and the camp staff. The food was bomb. Like, it's normally good. And I'm like, oh my gosh. All our special guests were like very impressed with the food. So thanks, Tyler and the team. But like, we just can't do it without like this huge team from the AV and the worship team, the camp staff, the core officers and youth leaders who bring their kids. And it was just a great weekend. It'll go down as a really good one for me.
Monster, if you're listening, we are not endorsing Red Bull. It was just that's what they had.
That's
the
what we
podcast.
had.
We're still,
Nope.
we are still Monster.
I'm
Zero
endorsing camp
Ultra.
and core officers.
So if you're listening and you want to throw, some kind of
He's been working on this passive monster sponsorship for.
you want to throw a sponsorship up to us,
Okay.
that'd be fine. I like the Blue Hawaiian. Well, I like all of them actually. There's
You want them,
Yeah.
get them all donated
Yeah.
to camp for the summer.
Speaking of which, that's a good transition. Let's transition to summer ministries.
Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to? Let's start off with our theme. So what's our
Yes.
theme for the whole summer? Because we're doing things differently this summer
Yes.
than we have done.
Yes.
Typically, each camp session, camp has its own theme, and then the individual sessions like music camp, say camp, musical theater camp, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
They'll usually have their own theme, but we decided for this year, having one unified theme
Yes.
and one unified message just goes a long way
Yeah.
with just messaging and,
Yes.
cohesiveness as a ministry group. So what is that theme?
So the theme is from Psalm 27. It's shine bright, or the Lord is my light. The Lord is my light and salvation. And so just talking about, the world is a dark place and our kids struggle with a lot of stuff. And so focusing on like who God is and that he's light, right? And all that entails walking with him. And then once he fills us, then we shine bright, right? And so I love that the team was like, let's do a unified theme. And I'm like, yes, that's fabulous, right? So just for everything from decor and messaging, and like we want the kids to get this, right? And some kids come to camp once during the summer, and some of them come multiple times, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Sometimes we have campers come. So each of the weeks will be a little different with the programming and exactly how we use that. But overarching is the shine bright and the Lord is my light and salvation.
I just
So
came
looking
up
forward
with
to
the
it.
camp theme for next year.
Which one?
So we had, for those of you who don't know, we had we had several moments of like coming together with ideas.
Yeah.
Camp team, DHQ team,
Gifford.
Spokane
Yeah,
team.
Gifford Arnold.
Just coming up with like a brainstorm. I had come up with Love and Thunder.
Yes.
I think it's a great theme. However, I like Stay Salty.
Stay salty.
What? We are the salt of the earth,
You're funny.
right?
Yes,
Like that could be
yes.
like just that tagline on a shirt. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, what does that mean?
Stay
And
salty.
The kids be like, oh, actually, I think it's great. So for next year, stay salty. 26.
You can throw that in the ring and see if
Summer
it floats.
2026. But 25, it is shine bright.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had an idea that I did not pitch, but
Yes.
I had it all the way down to the T-shirt.
Yes.
So it wasn't surrounding specific. It was more inspired by song. So Breakthrough
Okay.
Miracle Power, the song.
Yeah.
But my vision for it really just came down to the T-shirt, and the T-shirt design was essentially
The Kool-Aid.
the Shield, mascot
Yes.
as the Kool-Aid Man busting through a brick wall.
Well, that's kind of cool.
I think.
What's the tagline for Kool-Aid?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I could maybe get down with
So
that.
I'm still workshopping this idea,
Yeah.
but because there's really no scripture involved yet. But
that's funny.
I still
it's
like
an
stay
easy find,
salty.
but-
I like stay salty. I'm using that.
I do have another one that actually kind of ties into my my scripture pick for today. But
Yes.
Okay.
we'll
I love
workshop
how
get
we're
to
all
that.
talking themes.
How is the hiring process going? How are you guys still
Yeah.
short on things? Do you know if Gifford is short on in particular areas? But
Yes.
yeah,
So, my last update with the Camp Arnold team, we're looking pretty good, but we still have some main positions open, and I believe Gifford does as well. And it's really particularly in the ages of like 18 to 21 or higher. Some
is that
things
like the
happen.
program staff?
The program staff, like it's the leadership team, right? So, on Camp Summers, the program team is like our summer leadership team. So like we're basically like the leaders of camp, but we have summer staff who help us in main key positions. And so it's those that are maybe a little bit older, a little bit more mature in their faith, and or have some leadership capacity or can learn and grow that pretty quickly, right? Because we've done a great job, and like Mackenzie McQuaid, who I work with in the youth department, she's done Ignite. We have like this leadership pipeline, right? And so COVID really hit us pretty hard with having camp not having camp for a couple summers, because you lose that like ongoing, the younger kids growing up to be counselors, growing up to be program staff, growing up right into those key positions. So we're really trying to continue to build that back. So we're better at this stage than we were last year. So we're pretty good. And I know that Camp Gifford got to hire a bunch of internationals from Camp America, which is awesome.
Good.
So that's their second year doing that. And that's really increased their ministry and camp life and stuff. So that's been awesome. But we're really missing like that young adult crew that probably would have grown up through the COVID years at camp, right? And just made camp like a regular thing in their lives. So we're still looking for men and women, especially 18 to 21 or older. 21 and older is great because then they can drive for different things for
yeah.
camp staff, right? So we do still have some spots open, though we're pretty good with where we're at. We feel pretty good, but we still have some key positions to be filled. So you can go to the Camp Arnold or Camp Gifford websites, and they both have just directly on their websites, Salvation Army Camp Arnold or Camp Gifford. They have summer employment options. All of the jobs are posted there, including like the job descriptions. You could just apply right there on the website and get an interview really quick, right? So you can check out the websites and kind of what summer will look like. It's an 8-week commitment for the program staff and a 7-week commitment for the rest of the crew. The program team is the leaders, and they come in a week early for training. But it's an awesome summer, and I have to just tell you, I look forward to summer camp. Like, it's crazy, right, for us as leaders and having kids on campus and all that entails. But I really look forward to the summer months, and it is beautiful at both Arnold and Gifford. Just a gorgeous place to hang, and people meet their best friends at summer camp working there for the summer. We've had people who then go visit each other or vacation with each other after. So it's like building relationships and capacity in your resume, and outdoor ministry and kids ministry. So it's a really good place to like try out your skill set and create community and relationships that can last a lifetime.
Have you worked at camp before?
So I joined the Salvation Army after college. So I went on to the Croc Project on Oahu, so I didn't work at camp for a summer. So I'm actually like honored to be a DYS leading that, right? Because I'm like, I didn't work as a full summer camp. I helped here, there, and everywhere kind of thing. And I also do candidates. So I'm always looking for those who are called to ministry long term. And if that's within the Salvation Army, then we want to support you in that. Being a Salvation Army officer and pastor is very specific, right? But I get to meet a lot of different people, and even young people are interested in officership. But if it's not officership, that's okay. We want you to find your best place, which is your part in the body of Christ, right? And your part in ministry. And it can look very different. So,
speaking of candidates, I think we
Yes.
have 2 that just got accepted
yes!
yesterday, right?
Oh, so excited. So our newest, just yesterday or the day before, they were officially accepted. So our Northwest Division
Keith
candidates.
Almanza.
It's not Keith. So coming in from the Northwest are soldiers from the Federal Way Corps, Jonathan and Rachel Utrera. They have been officially accepted
Good.
to training school for this fall. So they are moving through life real quick to get
Good for
everything
them.
in order, and they will head to the training school to become officers for their 22-month program this fall. So we're super excited. So once they enter, we'll have 4, because we also have Christian and Stacy
Yeah.
Fuquay
Yeah.
from Vancouver Corps. So we'll have 4 of them in from the Northwest once they hit the ground running in August.
Yeah.
So super excited.
That's awesome. I think I did 3 summers at camp.
Yeah.
Or at a camp.
Which camps?
My last one, well, that's 4. My last one was Camp Paradise Valley
Where?
in Kentucky, Tennessee. That was with, oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. Her mom is Kathy Kelly. Oh man, I'm
Okay.
so sorry. Can't remember her name.
She was the DYS or camp director?
She
or?
was the DMD.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this was my first year at Asbury.
Okay.
The year I went to Asbury, I worked at Camp Sebago in Maine.
Nice.
Beautiful place. I mean, that place, Maine, is just so gorgeous. So Camp Sebago, I was a Christian education director,
Nice.
which was the first time they ever had that. And
Cool.
then I did a couple summers in Sierra Del Mar.
Yes. Pine Summit. That was.
No. How
Where
dare
was
you.
it? Oh, it was down below. That was the camp before Pine Summit. What was it
Wildwood
called?
Ranch.
Wildwood Ranch. I heard about that
In
one.
Ramona.
Never got to go.
Oh man, that was a good camp. A lot of potential. Unfortunately, we just
Couldn't keep it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But they couldn't. There were some issues with that camp just being really dirt, like just
yeah.
not a lot of pavement.
Okay.
And the camp is really spread out.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the more spread out camps that we've owned, and I think there was 900 acres.
Yeah.
When we owned it and operated, I think it was only 500. So from like the main camp area to like some of the staff housing was like a mile and a half.
Yeah.
So we're talking like Camp Lador size camp, 900 acres. But yeah, it was a great camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Major Siobhan Malone was my DYS.
That's
at
fun.
one of them, so
Nice.
yeah. So yeah. So our camp we're looking forward to camp. We're doing musical theater camp, which is Shrek Jr.
Woohoo!
So if you are interested in that, we have 20 spots available.
I really want to be the tortured knight that shows the wrong amount of fingers.
Oh, number 3, my lord.
Yeah, I want to be him.
Yeah. So we're doing Shrek Jr. and coming back again, we have Hannah and Zach Smith.
Lovely.
And then for Music and Worship Arts Camp, it's a little bit different this year. We've tried several different things over
Yes.
the last few years just to see what kind of the best format is.
Yes.
And so camp is July 5th to the 12th, with the senior campers arriving on the 5th, and then the junior campers arriving on Monday the 7th. So, and we have a lot of staff for that. It's going to be fantastic. We're hoping to bring back Summer Bussy from THQ.
Nice.
So we're just waiting for approval from that. And then our big guest is Dr. Nathan Miller. He is from Asbury, and he goes to
Fun.
the Lexington Corps, which is attached to the Eastern Territory. That is the only corps in Kentucky that is attached to the Eastern Territory. The rest of the state is all Southern Territory.
Strange.
It's money. Yeah, I won't be afraid. I'm not afraid to say it. It's all about money. So, Keith, what are you looking for towards the summer? What are you looking towards for the summertime? I know we have like another month and a half. That's coming quickly.
It's quick.
It's going to be here tomorrow. What am I looking forward to most? Probably just working with the kids again, man. It's because, we do throughout the program year, we'll go to, 3 or 4 core a week. I myself, I go to 4. And so I get to see these same kids every week.
Yeah.
But, well, as long as they don't cancel programs. But beyond those 4 core, seeing those same kids, like we rarely see the Bellingham crew.
Like Beyond the Sound.
Beyond the Sound. So we rarely see, specific core kids until something like Encore or Music Camp. So I'm looking forward to seeing them again, seeing how they've grown musically, spiritually, and just getting to work with them again. That's always a rewarding time. Like worked with Adelaide, and she's so close at Seattle Temple, but I never see her. I never get to work with her outside of something like a camp. So
yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're hoping to initiate a new leadership program. Camp and the youth department have this leadership pipeline for a number of years now. So we're open to have our own leadership track going. So hopefully that'll happen this summer. All right, we're getting close to our close. So do you have a kind of a verse of the season going on right now? Keith has an addendum or an amendment to his from last time and a correction to Captain David Kane.
No, I don't want to
don't be shy
correction.
Now. Don't be shy.
But the scripture verse was from 2 Timothy, not 1 Timothy. So that's the only amendment we'll say.
Yes.
Do you have one for today?
For today, yes. So I've been down this rabbit hole lately because I'm always very song focused, and most of my listening and familiarity with praise and worship tunes comes from just driving and putting it on, letting it play, and then just learning new songs that way.
Yeah.
Because my familiarity is still relatively small, I'd say. But so in song focus, I like to find what's the inspiration for this song. So, Nothing I Hold On To is inspired by scripture. And then so now, my verse today comes from Nehemiah 8:10. So the song of focus, we'll call it, is the joy of the Lord is my strength.
Yeah.
And so the scripture is, Nehemiah said, "Go and enjoy choice food and sweet drinks, and send some of those who have nothing prepared. This day is holy to our Lord. Do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is your strength."
Nice.
Did you pick that because we talked about food?
No.
I know. I'm like, that was very on point.
What about you,
That's
Captain?
great. I'm still living in the glow of DYR. So our main verse for kind of the program year, our big events, Say Rally, Young Adult Retreat, Divisional Youth Retreat, has come from this theme of God being good and true, right? Focusing on who he is. So Exodus 34:6, as we've been talking about Moses, and the Lord passes before Moses and proclaimed, the Lord, merciful and gracious, long-suffering and abounding in goodness and truth. So just the fact that, like, the younger generations, we do too, right? But especially the younger generations need to know that God is true. Like, everything he says is true, from his scripture to his character to how he works through the body in miraculous ways. But he's also good. He's good in every season. And some of the questions that came up from the youth at DYR were like, why do bad things happen to good people? Why does God allow suffering? Like, things like that, right? And so those are real life questions that we ask just as adults, right? When we go through the valley of the shadow of death and we go through those hard times when we're like, this isn't fair, or I don't feel like God's close. But through all of those, and my testimony has been when I can look back after you've gone through that stuff and go, oh, God was still good the whole way. and everything he does is good, and he's faithful.
Yeah.
And so that's something that, that's a real life, hard, adulting kind of faith. That's the meat, right? And so how do we encourage the youth to know that he is good and he is true? He's present and he's faithful, know who God is and who he's not, right? And so those are scripture I've been living in for the year.
I think it's a great reminder for, like, as you said, just adults.
Yeah.
Right? As they've lived, they've gone through experiences that, and whether it's personal or like in a corporate
community
setting,
and worldwide, we go through stuff.
Like how, like, they can still trust
Yes.
that God is good.
Yes.
Right? Like,
And
no matter what you're going through,
Yeah.
no matter what they've been through, like, just a reminder of just God is still good.
He's still good.
Like, your life maybe hasn't gone the way that you wanted it
Yep.
to,
Yep.
and it hasn't been easy. 'Cause
Yeah.
it won't be easy.
No.
Right? Like, for anybody.
Every story in the Bible were like these heroes of faith, and we go through their story, and they were in the valley of the shadow of
Yeah.
death. They were up against the Pharaoh. They were lost and alone. Their marriages fell apart, or their kids turned away from God. Like, there's all these things that, like, oh, we think this is like rose-colored glasses. No, real life and real faith is really hard. But through all of it, God is actually good. He is actually true. Everything he says is true.
Yeah.
And he's faithful, and he's going to be with you the whole time.
Yeah. So, I think just for those who've, especially from the church,
Yeah.
right, for young adults to adults who have felt spurned or burned or hurt from the church,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we are fallible people.
That's big.
We are imperfect people.
Church hurt is real.
But God is holy. He is good.
Yep.
And you can trust in God.
Yes.
Don't put your faith and trust in us.
Yeah.
And men.
That's
or
been
people.
a big part of my journey.
So-
When God called me to be a pastor, I'm like, oh, what? Right? Because the church hurts sometimes, right? We're not perfect people.
Yeah.
And people are the biggest blessing and the biggest problems. But like through that, God works all things for good. Not that everything that happens is good, but that he's good through all of it.
Yeah.
And he's going to work through the body. Like, we're his first choice for salvation and mission in the world.
Yeah.
And I got to trust him in that, and that he knows what he's doing with his body.
Yeah. I think mine is, you brought up song focus. Mine is a song, and it's been on my heart for a while, Holy Forever. I'm
That's
not
a
sure
good
if I've
one.
mentioned this already, but, like, man, when I think about life, and, I'm 41 now, so I feel like I'm closer to the end than I was to the beginning. Hopefully that's not true, but who knows? But as I think about, like, getting older and what the end means, whatever that looks like,
Yeah.
like, I just have this vision in the Bible, spurned on by that song, of, like, everything just kind of goes away, and we're just going to be at the feet of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Just singing, like, you are holy.
Yeah.
And, like, that song, every time I sing it, or every time it comes on Spotify, it just, like, sometimes it's just, like, almost tears, right? You're just like, man, this is what being a Jesus follower is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the end, when it's all said and done,
Yes.
like, being at his feet, just worshiping.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's not for a long time. So, God, if you're listening, you are listening.
Yes.
If you want my advice, which you don't, just let me live a little while longer. My grandparents, I think, on my dad's side were like mid-90s.
Yes.
So if I get there,
I'm not sure I'm going to make it that far.
That'd be cool. Well, we like to end our time with some shout-outs.
Cool.
So shout-outs they could be call out to a core,
Yeah.
a specific person or a group, whatever. Just to say, like, man, you are acknowledging that they have done an excellent job with this or that, or recently or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you have any shout-outs that you can think of?
Yeah, there's so many. I kind of shouted out some people already at the end, but really shout out to Mackenzie McQuaid. These big events are huge. And so she's, and I was able to honor her some at Divisional Youth Retreat. So she's our youth specialist in the youth department, right? So we partner together in ministry, and she has a passion for just excellence and safety and for just good organized things. And These big events are huge to put together. And just then throughout, she's been with the youth department for over 5 years, right? So she hit her 5 years a while back. And so just to be able to see the longevity, she's like the soldier at the Corps who stays on, right? When officers move in and out, because we have specific ministry and we get moved sometimes, right? So to have that kind of consistency and consistent, excellent service to the field, but specifically just with the recent young adult retreat and DYR, this was our Christmas season. Other than we have two, we have January, February, March, and then we have summer, right? And so just being able to live a little bit in the testimony of and celebration of what's taken place, and then have this transition season and prepping for summer camp. So shout out to Mackenzie. Really appreciate all she does.
Keith, do you have any?
Specific to, so I'll go blanket statement, the Hula Halal, the Divisional Youth Band, and the Youth Praise and Worship Team.
Yes.
They all did a fantastic job at DYR. But
They really
specifically,
did.
I will shout out Rose Anam from the Federal Way Corps. She was involved in everything
Yep.
that weekend. She's, I don't know if the lead is the right word choice for the hula, but she's the first. She's
Yep.
the solo entrant, and then she was in the praise and worship team,
Yep.
and then she was in the youth praise and worship team. She just did everything.
Is she in youth band?
Well, technically with the collab, then yes, but she did everything. It was a lot, and so shout out to Rose specifically.
Yeah.
All right, I am going to shout out everyone who is participating or getting ready for Encore.
Woot woot.
So we have just finished DYR, Divisional Youth Retreat, that happened 2 weeks ago. We are 3 weeks away from Encore 2025. April
it.
26th at the Seattle White Center Corps.
So fast.
Starts at 10:30. Registration will open at 9, and you can do some rehearsing with accompanists if you need it. But that'd be my shout out. All the Corps officers, Corps leaders, helpers, volunteers, all the youth that are preparing for Encore. That is my shout out. I look forward to seeing you guys in a few weeks. Don't forget that the registration closes next Friday on the 11th. That is 11th of April. So you have one more week to decide if you're going to compete or not, which, as a DMD, I don't really care about numbers. Like, that's not my thing. What I really care about is the opportunity that youth are given to perform. I grew up in a environment where I got to perform like every 6 or 7 weeks. So some of those early performances weren't very good, and I think that's why I still have performance anxiety now.
Some of the ones today are still not very good.
Stop it.
Right up. But yeah, I think just giving youth the opportunity to perform, because it gives them some buy-in.
It does.
Right? It gives them purpose of being at the Corps.
Yeah.
And so I just want as many youth as possible just to be able to participate, because music is a very impactful thing. It could change your life. It could keep you around. It could get you places that you may have never been before, and you may never have the opportunity to go again without it. So that's my shout out, and I think that is our time. So thank you, Captain, for spending some time with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to shout out the team that came from SoCal, Anthony Begonia, Jean-Paul, and oh my gosh,
Javier.
So all the guys who came out from SoCal to help us with worship. So I really appreciate them.
Yeah, you
Awesome.
can't do that, though. You can only have one shout out.
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
I did too.
Well, thank you for joining us for episode 7 on the Beyond the Sound podcast. I'm your host, John Apina, and this is my co-host,
Keith Almanza.
and we will see you next time. Monster, if you're still listening, we still like that endorsement.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
In the heart of the rain and evergreen trees, the mountains meet the sea, a place of peace. Melodies rising like the morning mist. We gather to learn, create and exist. Beyond the sound, beyond the stage, we lift our voices, turn the page. A symphony of love, unbound. Here in the PNW, we go beyond the sound. From blast to brush, from strings to song, every hand and heart finds where they belong. In every note and color, every line and beat, we build a world where souls can meet. Beyond the sound, beyond the sound, beyond the stage, we lift our voices, turn, we lift our voices, turn the page. A symphony of love, unbound. Here in the PNW, we go beyond the sound. From brass to brush, from strings to song, every hand and heart finds where they belong. In every note and color, every line and beat, we build a world where souls can meet. Beyond the sound, beyond the sound, beyond the stage, we lift our voices, turn, we lift our voices, turn the page. A symphony of love, unbound. Here in the PNW, we go beyond the sound.